Hey everybody, it's Heather here at the Ginger Empress, and I hope you all had a happy and healthy and a safe weekend. And on a lighter side, I hope you all had a happy Valentine's Day. I know a lot of us were on the cruise last week, some of us took vacations on the world, and I hope you all had a happy time. Now, if you did not go on vacation last week, don't worry, this is the video for you. We are going to do a budget video today, so hopefully next year you can take that vacation of your dreams debt-free. Okay, let's get started. So today we're going to talk about the number one rule, and in my opinion, the only true rule to doing a budget successfully. And then we're going to talk about some tips, and then I'm going to tell you the 5-step process to doing a budget. It's very simple. It's 5 steps in the beginning. So my number one rule, and really I think the only true rule to budgeting, is that it should be zero-based. And again, this is successful budgeting. It should be zero-based budgeting, which means every dollar has a name, as the catchphrase is. And what it means is that you're assigning every dollar a function, a purpose. I had always done a budget, but I'd never stuck to a budget. I'd never done these steps before. And so I was out of control in debt and credit card debt and overdue on some bills. And so I really do believe that giving every dollar a purpose tells you not only what your money is going to and what you need your money for, and therefore maybe you need a little more. It's helping you identify areas that you overspend on. And that way you can take those areas, rein in, and then chunk that money towards your debt-free process. So a budget is very important. Okay, so let's talk about the 5 steps to budgeting. It's really just 5 steps, and it's very easy. And I will tell you, the longer you do it, the easier it'll get, and the quicker your little budgeting sessions will go. So the first thing is to gather your data, gather your tools. So whether it's at the dining room table or your office table or the couch, gather. So what you absolutely need to start your budget is you need to know when you get paid and what you get paid. And then you need to know when your bills are due and the minimum payment. The third thing you need to collect is your debts. This for me is I think this is the hardest part of budgeting, is you have to face your debt. You have to face the reality of it. Sometimes we don't even know how much we're really in debt until we tally it up. I'm kind of somebody who doesn't even want to know. I'm like, I don't want to know. So the second step is that then you're going to start creating your budget first by plugging in your income. The second step is to plug in when your bills are due. The fourth step is when you start calculating how much you're going to spend on other categories like food or insurance or gas and things like that. Necessities obviously come priority. And then if you have money left over, then you can do other things like maybe a $10 entertainment budget or something like that, or a $20 gift budget or something like that. Or if you need to do a sinking fund, $20 a month Christmas sinking fund, things like that. So then what you do is you minus your income from your bills. Like let's say you only get paid twice a month, and let's say you get paid $3,000 twice a month. And from the 1st to the 15th, you deduct how much those bills, those absolute necessities are. And so then you figure out how much you have left. That's where that fine tuning, and that's where really budgeting at its finest and sometimes hardest, that's the step where it really starts to kick your butt. So the 5th and final step is working with that debt. And that's where you list your debts from smallest to greatest, and you start plugging them in to where you can pay them off. So let's say you have $200 overdue on your electricity bill, and let's say you have $100 left over on each paycheck. That means you're going to pay $100 off on like the 1st and $100 off on the 15th. So simple like that. Now, if you find that you don't have any money left over for your debt process, this is where you need to go back to step 4, and you need to start trimming back. And if you can't trim back and you're down to the bare necessities, that's when you need to start looking into increasing your income. Well, you have to increase your income, right? Okay, so now I want to tell you 10 additional tips. These are things that I find that are helpful when I'm doing the budget. And I also looked at several different articles on Dave Ramsey website, and these are what I think the 10 best that come from him, and 10 that I've used myself in the debt-free process. So I 100% agree. So the first thing is that I saved $10 in my account, and so I let my account dwindle to $10. So basically I would get paid, I would immediately pay off, like let's say my credit card, and then I would then let certain bills auto deduct, and I knew I only had X amount to eat out at work, and that was basically it. But I knew that I always had 10 extra dollars, and that was just for me a little safety net, not to overdraft. And because when I overdraft, it would then pull money out of my credit card, and then I get fees and yada yada, and ain't nobody got time for that. But $10 isn't a lot, but $10 is all I really needed because I was doing a budget and I had purpose and intent with every dollar. So some budgeting experts will say have a little miscellaneous category, and let's say your paycheck is an uneven number. Let's say you get paid $19.08 each paycheck. Well, you can take that $8 and you can throw it in your budget as a miscellaneous category and then let it sit in your bank account as a slight little buffer so you don't overdraft. Now here's the thing, if you're constantly coming at the end of the month with like $1, you're going $7 over your budget somewhere. Most likely it's eating, or at least for us it was eating, but $7 somewhere you're not calculating right in your budget. And so it's a good indicator. If you don't have $7 in your account before your next paycheck, you need to go back and look at your budget where you're overspending, because maybe you need to evaluate that category. The next thing that I will say, the next tip that I will say, so just know the first couple of months are gonna be a learning curve. You will have to do the budget every single month. And not just because there are learning curves, but there are changes. Your lifestyle changes, whether you're moving or you get a different job or you get an additional job or your cable bill changes. You know, in January, my car insurance was $138 and in February it's $108. So your bills will fluctuate each month. Hopefully your income will fluctuate in a positive each month. So each month will be different, and each month you need to do the budget. So to be honest, I was actually doing my budget twice a month. Every single time I got paid, I looked at that spreadsheet. I looked where I could skimp. I looked and I paid my debts as soon as I could, because I wanted to get debt free. I was intentional with them. So having said that, my third tip that I did is that do look at least once a month, or once a month when you're actually sitting down at the budget, whether that's at the very beginning of the month or at the very end of the month. I really do recommend that you re-look at those categories. For some of us, we're in a position, we start a budget because we can't make ends meet. And so then we have to look at what we can do to increase our income, right? And get on a budget. Well, for some of us, we make enough to make ends meet, but we just are not smart with our money. And so for some of us, and this is me, this was definitely me in my 2016 debt-free process, was that I had to cut the fat. I had to cut the fat on traveling, in shopping, in personal care. You're gonna see, I'm gonna show the budgeting tools in a hot minute, but I really had to keep skimming down. I will tell you, the more you get into your debt-free process and you see results, the more you'll want to skimp. It's just the facts. So having said that you should do your monthly budget the month before, it just sets you up for success the next month. Like I said, you have a plan, you know what you're gonna do, and you're less likely to accidentally binge or splurge. And on that note, I would recommend that you have a routine. So like you say, you do the next month's budget on 25th of every month. And I would even go a step further to say all routines actually help you not have such a yo-yo budget and not have such a yo-yo bank account. every Thursday we would go grocery shopping. It's easier to go through a calendar budget and budget $100 every Friday for groceries. So so the routine helps prevent yo-yo effect in your bank account, but it also helps with actually budgeting. It really helps budgeting. One thing that Dave Ramsey always recommends is that you cut up your credit cards. And, it's recommended that to help with your success. So the reason why this is a big tip is that there's always the potential for you to accidentally over budget, under budget. And so you just go to that handy credit card to just pay whatever, the easy money access, right? It's easy money, but not free money, right? So people that are dependent on credit cards, it's hard for them to let go of that umbilical cord, and it's easy for them to rebound. But just remember that when you're spending on your credit card during your debt-free process, you're not getting debt-free. You're just adding to it, and you're adding to the length and the amount that you have to pay back. So it is highly recommended that you cut up that credit card. Now, I did not do that. I just stuck mine in a drawer where I didn't have access to it in my wallet, and I took it off of my phone, my Amazon accounts, everything. So I didn't have access to it, and I actually didn't use it. I didn't spend my credit card. I was just a little scared that, God forbid, some emergency happened. I don't know. I was just a little too nervous to cut it up. But I will say I never used it during my debt-free process. So whether you store it away in a sealed envelope in a desk you never use, or if you cut it up, either way, you need to eliminate access to that credit card. So one thing that I did use is the envelope system, or all cash. I bought from Dave Ramsey one of his envelope systems, and his daughter Rachel Cruz has a really gorgeous little hand purse that is cute. It has the envelope system in it, but it looks gorgeous. But this was before that was even out. I have the old school envelope system binder, and what it has in it is it has a little checkbook place where you can keep cash in hand, and you can write down here how much you put in and then how much you take out, almost like an old school checkbook. I don't know if any of you are old enough to know about balancing your checkbook, but this is it. And then it has a notepad. I actually did not expect to see this, but I have some old school goals here. And then in here is where you can stick other envelopes. For me, I have my, I have another list. I have my baby step 2. So, and then here are some loose envelopes tucked behind here. I have this one labeled, I don't know if you can see it, Petco, because I used to get our dog food at Petco. I don't anymore, but I used to get it at Petco. But I literally, and the one I can't show you because it's all torn up and I don't use it anymore, is like it said groceries. And so the goal of using cash or the envelope system helps you prevent from overspending. For some of us who need to go back to Restraint 101, so let's just take me for example. So I got paid $3,200 twice a month. I immediately paid $1,200 to my credit card. I think I never had more than 3 envelopes. Like I had an envelope for groceries, I had an envelope for eating out at work. And those are the only 2 envelopes I did. So I would withdraw the money that I had for those 2 categories and I'd put them in the envelope. So when I went to work, all I had was that cash. So if I wanted to splurge one day, let's say on Thursday, I wanted to splurge on a big lunch. Well, that means on Friday, I might be eating ramen noodles. Do you recommend the envelope system? You don't have to get any particular person's envelope system. You can just get envelopes that you have in your desk drawer, or you can go to the post office, they're sitting out for free, and or you could just use paper clips. And what you could do is just clip your money together. On Amazon, there are a plethora of envelope system or couponing wallets, and so I got this off of Amazon, and it has a place for your photo ID and for your cards, or cash. It has a big envelope here, pen. But the reason I bought this is because it had this. I don't know if there's anything in it. So it had this. And so what I actually did is put like one envelope in here, and I put one envelope here. And then in here, I had coupons. For almost the entire time, right away, I got into couponing. And I wasn't like an extreme couponer, but I kind of have mad respect for those people. But I did get into couponing, and so I did get this. And this is what I carried around at work and around the town. So one thing I like about this system or this system is that it allows you to be consistent. Not only for me, I found that it allowed me to have restraint, and it allowed me to have relearn some self-discipline, but it really helped me be consistent. And again, the more I got into the debt-free process, the longer I was in the debt-free process, and I was consistent, and I was behaved, and I was seeing results, then, you know, it allowed me to trim the fat more. It allowed me to put more towards my debt and be more motivated. I will say that another big tip I recommend in the debt-free process is having goals and writing those goals down. Some people talk about how they wrote them on sticky notes and put them on their mirror and saw them every day. Some people say they had a chart, they posted it to their fridge. We did that. You know, having goals keeps you motivated, and it keeps you doing the budget. It keeps you consistent. It keeps you in that routine, and kind of helps keep you accountable, right? I can't go on that vacation next year for Valentine's Day if I don't make a couple of sacrifices here and now. I will tell you that the more you're in your debt-free process, your goals become tangible. You can almost taste it. And so it's a huge motivator. It's a huge motivator. I don't know if you can be as intense with your debt-free process if you don't have goals. And again, these are personal goals, and these are family goals, and these are couple goals, you know. In saying having couple goals and family goals, this is a big tip, and I talked about this on one of my original debt-free journey videos, is that I don't think we were necessarily on the same page, and I really regret that. And we didn't incorporate his money into the budget, and I regret that now. One of my biggest tips is that it should be a rule. It really should be a rule, is that you need to do the budget together as a couple, as a family. Because first of all, the key to a long-lasting relationship is communication, right? So coming together and doing your budget together, no matter how frustrating it can be, especially in the first month or two, no matter how frustrating it can be, it's very important to keep those lines of communication open. But also, when you come together to do your budget together, you're also going to prevent, I hate to say it, resentment. You know, when you're saying, we need to do this, somebody else doesn't really see that and doesn't have their own goals, well, they don't get why you're taking away their clothes money or their motorcycle money, or or why you want them to sell their motorcycle, or things like that. You know, they don't get it. And you guys have to come together and agree to compromise on the budget, but agree to have financial goals and bring both of your incomes together and use both of your incomes to chunk away the debt. I mean, I highly recommend it. It didn't break us, and I worked through it, but I really do highly recommend that you do the debt-free process and budgeting together. The last thing is, one thing that I saw on a Dave Ramsey article is give yourself grace. And I thought that was really a good point, and I thought it was very true. I made mistakes the first couple of months, and then even later on, I talked about it before, that I went on vacation. Could me not going on vacation have eliminated another month in my debt-free process? Yeah, probably could have. But whether it be we slip up and, we splurge on this, that, or the other, the concept is maybe to give yourself grace. You're only human. And also to be graceful with that other person. If you're doing the debt-free process with another person, be graceful with that person. It can be hard. It can be hard to finally have this kind of self-restraint, to live within your means, to not keep up with the Joneses. It can be hard because there's a lot of peer pressure out there. but it's a must. And I can tell you that, you know, Kanye with his $85 million of debt, you know, maybe not living up with the Joneses is the best, because when you get past your debt-free journey, on the other side is a lifestyle way better than the Joneses and way less stressful. So, be graceful, but I would say that if you have slip-ups, recognize what happened and why that happened and try to correct it, because I will tell you, no matter what the sacrifices are, the debt-free journey is worth it. I promise you. Okay, so having said that, let's run through some budgets. I want to run through 3 different ways to budget. And these are, I don't know if anyone else budgets a different way, but these are the only 3 ways that I know to budget. And I've actually used all of them. The first one is with the Dave Ramsey, the EveryDollar app. It is on iPhone, Android, and the PC. I personally recommend it on the computer, but let's sign in and let's go through it here on the phone.
All right, let's get started. We are on an Apple device, but it looks the same as Android. Let's get signed in. Now, the EveryDollar app is free to download and it is free to operate. You'll see in the upper right-hand corner, it is the Try Plus button where you can upgrade for $10 a month where it'll sync with your bank account, but no need necessary. I think the free version is amazing and very user-friendly. So at the top center, you're going to see the date. You can actually click on that and choose the month and the year. Now, just to speed up this process, I've already built a February budget. To the left is the month and the year that you select. There is the menu tab where you can get information about your account and support and settings. All right, back here on the main screen, again, it is so easy to toggle from month to month, but I'll talk about auto-populating later. And you'll see we have 3 categories at the top: planned, which really means budgeting, and you'll see that you'll have a really big bold icon at the top that tells you your total monthly income. The second category is spent, which really means cost. And the really cool thing is that you can go into each category, each expense, and put in multiple costs, multiple deductions and exchanges. And then the third is remaining, which basically means balance. So it will tell you if you've overspent in a certain category or if you've underspent, and that'll help you be able to shift and definitely throughout the month see, ooh, maybe I've spent too much. And I always keep saying eating, but maybe that's just our issue. So let's get back to budgeting. I will say that I use this app the first 2 months I was doing the debt-free process. It is so easy. I think you're going to really love it, especially if you are not tech friendly. So at the initial monthly income big icon you see right below, it'll give you assigned whether you're under budget, over budget, or if you've zero balanced your budget, it's an EveryDollar budget. And the first category that you'll see at the very, very top is income. And it's so easy to edit and add different incomes. All you have to do is click on that dollar sign and you can edit how much, oops, you can edit how much your paycheck is going to be for that month. Another easy way is to add income. Now, I just randomly added YouTube here, but all you hit is that little blue words right there that says add income, and you can add another paycheck. Really easy and simple to use. And you'll see at the top that my monthly income changed and my budget changed. So as we scroll down, now we started getting into the expense categories. Again, you can edit the name of any category. You can add items within each major category and add expense lines. And again, it's so easy right there. And it's so easy to add in the dollar amount, and then you just hit save right there above the numbers. It's just so easy to operate this. The way I have my expenses set up is first I had giving and savings, and then below that I have housing, and in housing I have every single thing related to my house, my mortgage, my HOA, my electricity, my cable, my garbage, everything. Now, one thing is that some people do sinking funds. So if you would like, you can go and create a sinking fund for your housing. Now I have the HOA and the garbage under housing, but you could create your own separate category for sinking funds, and then you could put a line for HOA and garbage. And what you could do is, for example, my garbage is due every quarter, $75 every quarter. I could save $25 every month, and uh, I can track that in a category called sinking fund. I have it here under housing. And again, after that, I have transportation. So here's the cool part. When you create a budget and you create the next month's budget, your original settings auto-populate into the next month. So that's really cool. And it makes it easier doing the budget. Then I have food, I have lifestyle, which in this category I have everything from pet care to personal care. And it's so easy. Again, if I don't have childcare, so I can just click on that and delete it. You'll see the trash can in the upper right hand corner, and boom, just that simple. So insurance, and then at the very bottom, I have a debt category. And so I list my debts that I need to pay off in my baby step 2. And just to FYI, you'll see on that first one, credit card, I put the total amount that I have to pay off, or the balance of that. And you can very easily hold and just scroll, and you can right here itemize the way you want to pay off your debts. If you needed to, like if I wanted to pay off my credit card first, I'd put that first or last or whatnot. I know it sounds crazy to go through this extra step of adding the balance, but I love it. For me, it's almost like a to-do list. It's something I can do each month. I can literally physically erase debt from the title, or unfortunately add it. So, and it's super easy. Just click on it, click into it, edit the title after you've created. Easy peasy. Okay, let's head over to the spend category. This is a really cool interactive part where you just go ahead and click on your expense line, and in the upper right hand corner you hit the plus sign, and then you add when you've actually paid out in that category. It's super easy, and you can even change the date, the amount, you can add notes, things like that. It's pretty cool. You can see at the top, without even going over to the balance section, it tells you at the top what you're budgeting, what you actually did, and how much you have remaining in that category. Pretty cool. It's so easy once you're in an expense line to go ahead and add an expense, edit the date, enter your amount, add notes, whatever. It's so easy to add multiple. That's why a lot of people do like the mobile version, because they use it every day. They actually track their budget every day. They feel like they use it more than they do the laptop. And again, it's so user friendly. I noticed I hadn't recorded a budget for food, so I'm going to easily tap and add that in. And then you'll see back in the expense page where on my restaurant line, you'll see at the very top, my budgeted minus my spent equals my balance. Super easy peasy. And again, the remaining tab is really the balance tab. You'll see how the restaurant section has changed. It's lowered to 119. And again, it tells you in red if things are over budget. And I really just look at the planned and the spent tab, to be honest. And again, here, this is it, the EveryDollar budget. Super easy and user friendly. I love it.
Second way is with the Excel spreadsheet, and this is how I budgeted.
When I was starting my debt-free journey, I went to Microsoft Word and I downloaded an already developed personal monthly budget, and it looked exactly like this. And I recommend that you keep this format where it has the budgeted column, what you actually spent, and then the balance so that you can track when you overspend or when you underspend, that you might be able to shift that into another category. Now, I did not do that. So as an ENTP and as an inventor, I tweaked it and I changed it so it was just one screen page, no scrolling or anything. I could see it, could marinate it, and slightly obsess about it. And so I eliminated the actual cost and balance column to fit it in. And that's okay. I used the rest of the pre-created budgeting tool as my actual budget. And I will say that it slowly got smaller and smaller the more I did my debt-free journey. I eliminated categories, I eliminated columns within the personal care, the entertainment, and the housing. The longer I went on. To the right, I had financial goals always right in front of me, staring at it, cheering me on. I had my financial goals. And then right under that, I created a little breakdown of what each paycheck is going to look like. And in some ways, you could say that was the actual cost slash balance area. But it was just another way, and maybe this is all a little too repetitive to be honest, but it just was another way for me to see what was going on day to day and just project. There was no surprises basically in my bank account there, and I never overdrafted. On the right hand, and that was actually left over from the tail end of my debt-free journey when I was slowly trying to uh, bring in, calculate more savings. And that just shows you how I had a plan and what I did in my debt-free process. I literally put there at the very beginning what my credit card debt was, and then I laid out every single day that I was going to make a payment, and then I follow that through. And for me, this isn't a necessary graph to make. For me, it was just another way for me to visualize, oh wow, on January 5th, I was going to be under 10,000. Oh, on February 20th, I was going to be done, and this is just another repetitive thing that I did, but nobody else has to do. But I will tell you, talking about having goals, if you look at the bottom, and again, this is my ENTP personality, but I literally had a spreadsheet after I was done with, I had a spreadsheet and a personal budget for my debt-free journey, and then I had one for baby step 3, and then I had one for baby step 6, and then I had one for baby step 7, and then one for retirement because I was doing Chris Hogan's RIQ, which said, okay, if you want to have this kind of retirement, how much do you need to save between then and now? And I am telling you, one of the great things about doing the debt-free process is dreaming for now, dreaming for the future, whether that be a home, but dreaming for the retirement and be able to live a retirement not eating dog food, right? Nobody wants to eat dog food. So I did. I dreamed big. I had big goals and I stuck with it. And I think just remember that out of anything, out of creating a budget, a spreadsheet, just get out that I had multiple tabs and I had goals. If you would like this spreadsheet or a blank version of it, and I'll clean up the right hand side, I would be more than happy to give it to you.
So the third way is with a calendar. Okay, here's an example of a calendar budget. Now, I could not bring up or find mine from last year or from 2016, so I just did a rough estimate of what my spreadsheet shows. I do recommend, or what I had done in the past when I tried the calendar budget. So if you are going to do the calendar, the first thing I recommend is that you start with pencil, i.e. this, you start with pencil, and then as you pay off your bill or your debt, then you put it in pen. So the first thing you're going to do is plug in your income. The second thing you're going to do is plug in your debts. For example, like these are all auto deducted. I still actually had my Roth IRA deducted for the first, I think, 6 months. A lot of these are all, this is my phone, this is my cable. These are all auto deducted. CPS, that is not Child Protective Services, that is my electricity. Then I put in my debts. Credit cards, only $1,200 in. And then I never paid off debt the same day I got paid. I let everything simmer, so to speak. And that's because on the days that I got paid, I had auto deductions and I never wanted to overdraft. So the very next business day or the very next day is when I actually did my debts. So like at this time, I was doing the credit card. At the 16th of the month, I could actually add on an extra 100. I will say that what a lot of people did and what I was doing is that at the end of the day of my projected income minus expenses, I would put what my bank total should actually say. And again, maybe this is a little old school zeroing it out, but for me, I just felt like if I didn't see $442 at the end of the second of the month, like maybe I saw $200, I knew I was going to be SOL for like groceries or CPS. Another reason why to do pencil is that, let's say I want a budget for $150 or $100 of groceries. It depended on the month. And on the side here, these are expenses that I had that I didn't necessarily know what day I was going to be utilizing them on or know how much I would actually be spending each day. So eating out for me, this was strictly for work. I had a budget of $10 a day to eat for lunch and snacks. And then for me, I had $200 to spend on food and treats and even toys. And then down here, I always had goals. For example, like continue, even if it was something simple that it was the exact same of the previous month, continue paying off credit card. It's just keeping those goals in mind was incredibly important. This is it. This is easy to do as well. It's a little bit more visual, and for those who really need to write things out to really physically see it, if you're not tech savvy or you don't want to have anything to do with apps, then this is probably the way for you. Again, do it in pencil, and then as let's say the first week goes by, go back and look at this, erase the pencil, put it in pen, and then, just mull over it, marinate in it and marinate in your budget and see, did I go over? Did I go under? Can I change my budget? That's it. This is hopefully your one-stop shop budget video. It's very easy. It's only 5 steps to do your budget. You need to do it every month. Be consistent, be disciplined, but be intense about it. It's very simple. But yeah, it can be hard. There are different steps that are harder than others, but I promise you, I did it. You can do it. If you have any questions, comment below. If you are going through a debt-free process, comment below. I'd love to know what you're doing. I'd love to know what your goals are this week. And I would love to know if there's anyone who wants to start a debt-free journey, but not sure or just needs a little motivation. Comment below. I would love to hear from you guys. So thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed below, we have a subscriber giveaway going on right now. And I just hope that you all not only have a happy day, a healthy day, but also a safe day. And I will see you all on Wednesday. I've got a good one this week. I did the 5-day nutritional cleanse last week. And so I will be going over that this Wednesday. So again, good night. Bye.